Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Seahawk Talk here on the Salve Athletics Network. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. We're coming to you live across Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope through Twitter. We've got a great show for you here today. We will have special guests Jody Mooradian, Annemarie Haas, captain of our women's tennis team, along with Patrick Cooney, the head coach of our men's lacrosse team, and rounding out the day will be Eric Cirella, the head coach of our baseball team. Can't wait to talk to them and our producers. But first, as always, we want to remind you all to keep your distance.
Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity.
That is The Shake with Keep Your Distance, and Ed Habershaw giving us his rendition. We're going to bring in now the producers, Joey Morelli and Mike DeFusco from Backstage to Onstage, and we will welcome them to the show any second here.
Hey,
We've got
Yes,
Mike. I don't know where Joey went. Joey may have
it
disappeared.
appears. Yeah, it appears we lost Joey there for a second, but I'm sure he'll be back right away.
And we wanted to give Joey the first word here today. So come on
It,
now, Joey.
I know. Well, luckily, I know we didn't overlap in our stories, so hopefully we'll be able to get to him. But yeah, I'll go ahead and just jump in before he gets back, since we clarified our stories before. Just wanted to highlight a few local businesses that are coming to Newport. So the first one I'm going to show is called Little Lady Baby and All Things Groovy. It's kind of like a retro establishment. There's a little bit about the business right here. Just wanted to highlight where it's opening. 42 Spring Street Suite here in Newport. Hear a little something about the business from the owner. You can read this on the Newport Daily News. The next one that's opening up right here, you can see all the information. You can see all about the business. The Robin's Egg is apparently a children's consignment shop. So any new mothers out there looking for children's clothes, you got a new place here. And then the last one is a fitness studio opening up in Middletown. Owner Jackie Henderson. And then again, a little something about the business. So, these are all opening very soon. So go visit Newport Daily News, take a look at these, and support local businesses.
Awesome. Yeah, we've had the big push about supporting the local, and especially when we're not supposed to be traveling all over the place. Good to know more and more of the things you can do locally. We don't see Joey yet, but I'm gonna bring up something here. We had actually, I have two things, but I wanted to get your opinion first. We had before the show, we showed there the little banner about T-Dish this day in Salve history, and today's was about here we go, October 5th, 1996. Then freshman Ryan Sornberger kicked barefoot a 47-yard field goal as time expired to lift Salve Regina to a 38-35 win over visiting Bentley at Topa Field. I think many people might go, "Oh wow, 47-yard. Wait a minute, barefoot?
Yes.
Barefoot?" Now the
You're not
barefoot
misreading that.
kicker doesn't exist really anymore in professional football. I remember I'll have to find the feature. We can show it again on a later Seahawk Talk, and maybe even get our football guys later in the week to talk about it. Maybe we can have the special teams guys on. We'll have to talk to Kevin Gilmartin about that. But
Oh,
the
for
barefoot
sure.
kicking used to be a big thing. I mean, rain, sleet, snow. There are these guys just out there, no shoes, no socks, whacking away. Your thoughts on the barefoot kicking, Mike?
Yeah, so I overlooked the barefoot part. I was astonished at the length of the field goal. That's quite a boot right there. No pun intended, but kinda. My dad used to tell me about when they used to do the square toe boot actually, and they would just kick straight on. So I've heard about that barefoot kicking. I didn't know that was still a thing. And this is during 2000, it looks like. But yeah, no, I was so impressed by the length of the field goal. I overlooked the more startling part of it, which is that it was barefoot. And then I think he wanted to say a little something about what he's doing now. what Somberger's doing now with the Warwick Police Department, right?
Yes. I'll have to pull up. He's a Pilgrim High School grad and is now captain on the Warwick, Rhode Island Police Department. So he may, in fact, know a friend of the Salve Athletic, family. Ryan Costa was a men's soccer player and then broadcaster for us now, who I believe is a Warwick, Rhode Island police officer, or at least he's in training to be so. Little just typical Rhode Island, right, Mike? You can draw
Right.
the lines all over the place to connect guys. I wanted to see if I could pull in too. I guess I could just pull up this whole tab because I was sharing a screen before, which maybe we can go to at the end because this is a little more. This is even funnier. Here we go. This is barefoot kickers in the NFL. Things people probably never knew, or at least probably people from our generation never ever saw. Um, I mean, that's gotta hurt. I mean, I've made the mistake of kicking a ball barefoot before, and it hurts. So
Yeah, we'll have to ask the reasoning because I can't see too much of an advantage. I mean, sneakers in the 90s couldn't have been that bad, or cleats in the 90s couldn't have been that bad. You had to resort to a barefoot kick, but unless there's some good reason behind it. So we'll have to ask the special teams guys for sure
well,
about
here's
what
the
they
thing.
think about it.
Here's the thing too. You have to make sure you're getting that with the top of your foot, or else you are. You ever jam a finger? Jamming toes is not fun.
You
Turf
know,
toe is not fun. I mean, look at this one. This is in the snow. This guy's in the snow, kicking like that.
gonna get frostbite.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. So,
Different time, different time.
uh,
I mean, hockey goalies didn't wear masks for the longest time, and they got a rock coming at their face. So, I
that's
mean, that's
true.
pretty drastic.
Yeah, and there's tons. There's tons. Maybe this could be a new segment we come up. Sports oddities here on Seahawk Talk because there's plenty of things like you said. Goalies not wearing masks. Guys kicking barefoot. Any baseball ones that you could think of? What would be a baseball oddity?
I can't think right now. I'm just thinking it's not an oddity, but no batting gloves. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of maybe like just some old like quirks that some players used to have is they wouldn't hold their hands together when they swung, they'd go up on the
Hmm.
bat a little bit. If you really want to go all the way back to if you want to go back to like Babe Ruth era players, you can definitely find some quirks involving also them probably drinking beers in the dugout, which was not definitely not allowed today. So there's some, or definitely if you go back, there's going to be
True.
more and more weird quirks. Yeah, that we
Well,
find. I've nothing like a
back in the
foot.
1800s, beer was a like energy drink. Like in the original, like when baseball started, Major League Baseball, you got to third base. Instead of the guy handing you a water bottle, a Gatorade or something, they handed you a beer because it was just loaded with carbs. It was barely even alcohol. So to them, it was like this is the energy drink. We gotta give you some energy. You worked hard to get to third base. That is not the case anymore.
No, definitely not. All right, I
You know,
still don't see Joey either. I see him commenting, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to his story.
yeah, I know. I know
Hopefully, it was
he's
a good one too.
he's working for us out of the Seahawk Radio studio. Pulling double duty here, producing this show behind the scenes, along with trying to produce it for the radio listening audience. So hopefully we get him again at the end of the show. Because we promised him that he'd have first word. So maybe at least we'll give him the last word here today. So anyway, Mike, great stuff. We'll talk to you again at the end of the show, and I'll let you get to work behind the scenes.
All right, I'll see you later.
All right, that's Mike DeFusco, one of the producers here on Seahawk Talk. We're going to go now to the director of athletics here at Salve Regina, Jody Mooradian, once again joining us first up here on a Monday. Jody, how are you, and how was your weekend?
Good, good. We're doing great here. Little fall weather in the air. So it's going well. The weekend was great. No sports once again. Well, you can watch them on TV. But yeah, so things are good here. Teams are looking good. Everybody's undefeated. The usual.
So I think pretty much everybody now, and even our winter sports in a little bit, are going to be returning to practice. How has that been? Now that some teams have put some time in, the practice is happening, it's working. That must feel good to at least say, we put so much energy to prepare
Yeah,
and
yeah,
plan, and at least now it's the wheels are turning, right? It
yeah.
must feel good.
Yeah, so we had a slow start. Everybody had to go through phases and a reacclimation period. So thankfully for the fall sports, we got that done. The spring sports, baseball, softball, and the lacrosses are also now in phases. And October 1st, basketball started their first practices. Everything's a little bit different in their practices, but I'll tell you what, it really gives life to these young people. You can just see that being able to be active, being able to be together, seeing half of their coaches' faces, the other half covered by masks, but it really brings a new energy, even though it's just practice. So it's exciting to see. We just want everybody to go slowly, follow all the rules, which they're doing, and just bring back some of that feeling that makes athletics and even Salve, it just makes it much more vibrant to have activities going on.
Yeah. Now, obviously, in the last 6, 7 months, so many things have gone digital, virtual. We're all learning the Zoom thing and all these different apps and all the wonderful things technology has to offer. What is happening at Sal Virginia from that standpoint, the virtual programming side? What has happened and what can we look forward to?
What I love is how creative everybody is, and thankfully, a lot of it spearheaded by your office. But teams were meeting with Zoom, they stayed in touch. So that part of it and the actual growing as individuals with their coach has been going on, but now they're actually together. And even some of the platforms for training have changed, and they've added a lot of reviewing what they're doing, and student athletes have taken over a lot of the social platforms. So I think we've all learned a new way to communicate, and surprisingly, it's working really well. Even just as a staff, for example, we do our staff meetings and we do them more often, but since they're virtual, I think that really actually works better because you can be anywhere doing anything and take the time to meet as a group. And so there have been a lot of benefits from learning to communicate in a new way. And hopefully we won't lose the personal touch and just seeing sometimes the kids on Instagram or wherever platform they've taken over. It's really fun and it does show personalities. That's the part we miss with masks. We don't see a lot of the facial expressions. Oh, and you with beards, we don't see a lot of the.
People, don't have to know that it's there. I also say, I squint when I smile, so people
Yeah,
probably just think I'm scrutinizing them all the time because I'll I love to go for walks or runs and stuff, and I
yeah,
pass people. I'll smile and wave to people who are just passing me, or on my bike, somebody looks and smiles at me. I'll wave. If I got the mask on, it just looks like I'm glaring at them, like leering. Like, what are you?
yeah, yeah.
No, I'm smiling. I swear. I need to get the clear mask so people can tell.
Yeah. When also when like I teach a course and we have a lot of student athletes in it, and it really is you have to get used to people's eyes to try and determine the people that are in class. Like what are they really thinking? The only thing they can't do now is sleep because I can see their eyes shut. So they have to actually at least pretend to be paying attention.
That is one of the benefits though of the Zoom thing
Yeah.
is that, for Easter I organized with my family. We had, we hadn't seen each other for weeks, so we figured out how can we get
Oh,
everybody together, and we had
great.
the big Easter get together Zoom call, 25 people, and essentially it just devolved into what family gatherings usually do, which is just everybody talking over each other. The benefit though is that you can just hit mute.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Oh, I see you are showing the Macaulay. We had a nice ceremony last week, and all the student athletes they joined in.
Elaborate on that ceremony.
Oh, so well, we did have on Sunday evenings their services, and Catherine McCauley, it was her birthday, so student athletes had a service, and then actually had a reception so people could walk by, and soccer and softball, they were there handing out goodies. So that was a nice campus activity. And I know actually a lot of our teams are doing service activities as a way of being together. So everybody's been creative, that's for sure.
And it helps to have a place like Salve, which is just gorgeous to be outside in. Like so
Yeah.
much of our campus is outside. It's worth seeing and being outside. That helps when, we're in the situation we're in.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Basketball, volleyball, and hockey should start next week at some point, but there are only sports indoors right now. So it's nice that we can just peek out and look at them in the gym, but they all have masks on and they're all doing that. But I think for the outdoor sports, it's been a lot easier just to be outside running around and doesn't feel as bad to wear a mask. I do know even, every sport, even cross country, just running around, people are getting used to it.
Yeah.
But you can't get used to beautiful.
No, you cannot. Never do. You mentioned the winter sports starting up. They'll begin practicing this week, in earnest as
Very small
teams
groups, yeah.
in small groups, the phasing and the pods and everything. What has the scheduling been like for them? Because they're expecting to start in January, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I feel like with everybody, it's going to be a crunch. We gotta really get the pencil sharpened and figure out how to book everybody in.
Yeah.
What is their schedule gonna look like, especially considering there's chances in February and March you might have every single sport happening at once.
Yeah, that would be great. The conference, we're looking at a tight schedule, so it might be just conference only, but the NCAA has already said for basketball, well, for all sports, that for championships, they'll take 75% of the normal field. And so it will really, really matter if you win your conference, and it's up to each conference to determine their automatic qualifier. But it could be that we would probably have about 50% of the games and start, we hope, if everything went well, in the middle of January to start a conference schedule that would go for maybe 6 weeks. So each school starts differently. We won't be doing any competitions for sure until January, but each school has a return to school date that's different. So, for example, Salve would be coming back, I think it's January 12th. Other schools might be coming back February 1st in the conference. So within that time, we have to work out how we will do a full, or as much as full possible, conference schedule. And then the winter sports would be going first, and then it will be really interesting to have soccer, football, baseball, softball. And we're trying to look at ways that we can schedule. So if 3 sports are home, 3 sports are away. And I mean, literally you could have, imagine that, like 20 sports in one weekend. Are you ready?
I'm trying to. I think we should perfect cloning. I think
Yeah. Then we'll just have to get apartments and just, right at the
I'll bring a sleeping bag to the stadium and just stay.
Yeah, we'll just keep it going. But and at this point, we don't know what will happen. We're planning probably we won't have or be able to have a large crowd at events still. I'm imagining that, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Very exciting.
Last question for you, Jody. Did you watch the BC football game this weekend?
I did watch it. It was a good one. Right down to the wire. There've been a lot of good games on recently. I think BC's back.
You think they're back? They're 2-1. They're 1-1 in conference play. They dropped that game to UNC, as you said. Nail biter.
Yeah, it's funny when you think you could be, definitely their top 40 or however many are playing. Like,
well, that's what's going to be interesting with the teams that are or aren't playing.
Right.
And the way that the limited amount of games you could have, it's all about, and it's going to be the same thing. I know a lot of our coaches have talked about it. You just have conference play, limited amount of games. You just got to get hot. I mean, if you just start hot, it doesn't matter, who you are, where you come from, or all what people would expect of you. It's such an unorthodox year. You start well, teams could come out of nowhere.
Yeah. And then at our level, you don't lose a year of eligibility, so everybody can play. You can try everything. It's going to be great.
Awesome. Well, Jody, great to see you. Look forward to talking to you again next week. And once again, thanks for being on with us.
Thanks. Take care.
All right, that's Jody Mooradian, the athletic director here at Salve Regina. We're going to turn now to a senior captain on our women's tennis team, Annemarie Haas. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I want to ask you, I just mentioned it there, senior and captain. We'll start with the senior part. How fast has that gone by, and does it add extra motivation to this season and with the uncertainty and everything towards, putting everything into this season to make sure it can happen because you're a senior?
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely crazy. I can't even believe that it's my senior year, senior season, especially like 4 years of playing tennis and like in general has just gone by. But that definitely has been pushing me and our coach and the teammates to really make sure that we're able to have a spring season, since our fall season did unfortunately get canceled. But we are going to try and do some conference matches in the spring if all going well. All hope going well. But yeah, it's been crazy, and I'm just super excited to even be nominated and have this great. I'm very grateful to be called captain. It's just been incredible with the team, and the girls have been great so far, and it's just an honor. It really is.
Now, I believe you're just the solo captain, right? You're the only one running the ship?
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
It's definitely a lot. I do have a lot of great teammates supporting me just there, obviously, and my coach, Adam Zakara, has just been awesome as well. It's been definitely difficult coming into this season. Again, we usually have it during the fall, and we usually have a preseason before you get back on campus and all that kind of stuff. So it has been a little bit of a learning curve to kind of get into this new, how we have to do it, and hoping that we can continue and have it in the spring. But it has been awesome. I'm just so grateful to be able to even be practicing outside in general right now. It's been gorgeous, and it's just been so fun to start getting back out there hitting, and it's just been great.
So you kind of mentioned a little bit of it there, but how has that adjustment gone? The returning to campus, obviously you have teammates who you hadn't even met yet, getting to meet them, all that sort of team building sort of stuff. Within the restrictions and limits, how has that sort of thing gone?
So it's been hard, definitely. We have 5 new freshmen and then 1 transfer. So 6 of our players out of 12 are new. So that's half the team. So not being able to meet them in person earlier was a lot, but they've been great. They're so kind, and we've kept our social distance. We've had a pasta dinner outside where we're all spread out. I gave them all goodie bags and stuff like that to welcome them to the team and say how happy we are to have them on the team, especially this year. It's kind of a rebuilding year, not having that many upperclassmen. Really getting these new freshmen is going to really create a great team for the coming years, which is very exciting because that's what we want. We want the team to continue to grow. But it's been great. They've been so kind, and I hope they've been adjusting well. I've been trying as hard as I can, but again, it has been a little difficult, but we've been getting through, and it's been great so far, especially with just practicing, getting back out there.
Now, you're a nursing major, correct?
Yes, I am.
What has that been like? I mean, I'm sure that's been a whirlwind from the spring to now, and also the adjustment. I mean, so much of what the work, especially in the senior year, must be hands-on, clinical type of work. What has that been like?
Yeah, it definitely has been great to be a nursing major. I'm so excited for what's to come. And it definitely has been a little stressful with both things, but the clinical placements have been super open, and we're getting COVID tested every week so that we're making sure that we're okay and safe to go in. And they've just been really open with us and making sure that we have the certain amount of people in the facility that they want and that kind of thing. Because obviously some facilities aren't letting all 8 all 8 girls or guys come into the facility on one day. Sometimes it has to be 4 and 4. So that's been difficult, but we've been having online sim labs and stuff like that to keep us still getting that hands-on experience so that hopefully at the end of the year when we do graduate, we're able to go out and do the best we can in the healthcare environment.
Yeah. you're a position we've had a number of, obviously there's a lot of nursing and education majors at Salve, but
Mhm.
those are like going to be the two most important jobs in the
Yeah.
immediate future. Do you feel that sort of pressure, like, wow, I'm studying something that I'm going to become an essential worker as soon as I
Right.
graduate?
Definitely. Yeah. It's crazy. I can't even believe it. I'm very excited in the sense of I'm kind of ready to get out there. Obviously, I'm still learning a ton, but um, just to be even able to get out there and help one patient or just calm a patient down about what's going on. It has been a scary time, and I can't even imagine what family members are going through. And even with like our own families, not being able to see them for so long, that's even just been a lot. So no matter what, it's been a stressful time, but I'm very excited to pursue this career and get out there and just create a positive impact on the world as best as I can.
Now, while you still have the time left here at Salve and you're on the tennis team, I know you're excited about this team. So
Mhm.
far from what you've learned or maybe been able to see on the court from your freshmen and your group as a whole, what do you like most about this team?
Just everything about this team is incredible. Tennis is a great sport in general. Being outside, being at Salve has just been awesome. The weather has been great for us, thank goodness. The team is just coming together very well. The girls are so sweet, so great. We've been creating a great atmosphere for everyone to kind of have fun, just to kind of take this fall a little bit easier, to stay healthy, stay safe, but to get out there and hopefully be working hard so that we can get to our season in the spring. But it's just crazy, but it's been a good crazy. And I'm just excited for hopefully a spring season and what's to come, and to get to know the girls better and to get to have our team bond a little more as we keep going.
What are your thoughts on the new courts? I know I spoke to Coach last week, and he couldn't stop raving about them. He called them the best courts in the conference.
Yes.
What do you? I can already tell the smile. You agree? Thumbs up.
Yes. Oh, I can definitely agree. When he told us that he was redoing the courts, we were so excited. He's like, "What's your opinion? What do you think?" And we were like, a couple of us were definitely like blue on the inside, green on the outside, like very professional. We were so excited. They look great. They're awesome to be playing on right now. But they're just incredible. I'm so grateful that I'm a part of the first year that is able to, or the last year to, like my senior year is the year that I got these courts. I'm really grateful that I was able to stay this last year and have these courts to play on for my final year.
Yeah. Now, we have everyone fill out a little pre-show questionnaire just to kind of get their thoughts on what they want to do. And one of the questions is, well, what would you ask yourself? And sometimes we get the greatest questions out of this, so you had to know this was coming.
Yes.
What have you learned being on the Salve women's tennis team over the years?
Mhm.
How has your college experience been better or worse with tennis, and why?
I can't imagine not playing tennis. The girls that I've met, the teammates that I've met, the friendships I've made has just been insane, incredibly and awesome. And I've learned a lot about myself and teamwork. I used to only be a singles player, and then I started playing doubles, and that was just awesome. Like, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't excited to at first, but then I did, and I got to learn more about how I worked as a doubles partner. Tennis just, it's a mental sport. It really is. And if you're especially playing singles, it's all in your own head. And I've gone into some crazy matches where I've been on the court for 3 to 4 hours, going into a third set tie break, super tie break, all this kind of stuff. And I have to be there ready to be mentally like, okay, you're okay. We're going to get through this, win or lose, no matter what. So that has definitely helped me with my mental, like just not getting in my head, not getting upset about anything, just kind of keeping that positive attitude. I've learned and grown through tennis, and I just am so incredibly grateful for the awesome experience that I've had, and the next season or this season to come. I'm excited to see what else I learn and what is to come.
All right, awesome. Annemarie, thank you so much for coming on and joining us here today. Good luck
Thank
with
you.
the fall, the prep, and then hopefully a spring season. Can't wait to see you guys out on those awesome courts.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's Annemarie Haas, senior captain of the South Virginia women's tennis team. We're going to go now to the head coach of our men's lacrosse team, Pat Cooney. Pat, how are you doing here today?
Good. How you doing, Andrew?
Pretty good. Fall practice is going to begin for you guys, different than probably the normal fall practices you guys would have. Talk about just your preparation for this week and getting that underway.
Yeah, we're excited, as you can imagine. The student athletes will start this Thursday, and we'll take advantage of the long weekend and go Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So different, but yet similar. We do return a lot of guys, welcome some newcomers, so that's always exciting right away in the beginning. Get to see those new players playing at the next level with those returning student athletes. But I think this fall we'll have an opportunity, hopefully, play a little bit more when you talk about time. And then with that, work on some drills, break down some situations, and then during the course of the whole practice period, build up in the sense of numbers, pods to team concepts, when we'll culminate towards the end of November if everything goes as according to plan.
You mentioned, the returners, the freshmen you have incoming. Speak first about your returners. Who really stands out for you amongst your returners?
Well, we do return a lot. We return all three captains first off. We do have two returning seniors as well, and Ethan Robeson and AJ Yarrow, and they provide a lot of leadership. But across the board, we return a lot of players who are significant in gravity on the field, in the classroom. So that bodes well as far as leadership across the board. We have a strong senior group, both in time on the field, numbers, experience, and we're excited about that. We did lose two seniors who were going to be returning, but who graduated early. And, that's always a loss. But at the same time, it's great to see those guys do well off the field as well.
Yeah, losing those guys, it's kind of the same story every year. You lose guys, but it just means somebody else. It's an opportunity. Hopefully, somebody can step up and step into those spots. Who do you like, and what have you seen so far? Maybe just in the limited conversations. I know guys have had some individual workouts, but what do you like about your incoming freshman? Who stands out to you?
Well, we first off have a good mix. We have 8 guys coming in, and 1 goalie, 3 midfielders, 2 attack/midfielders, and 2 defensemen. So good diversity of positions, all have attributes and positives to them. But I'm excited to see a number of them compete, especially with that group, that next level, as I said. We expect big things on defense from Jack Negley area out of New York, and big things from a couple of the midfielders that we have.
With the story with young guys is usually, they don't know what they don't know. So, guys can be unafraid of certain situations even if they don't have experience. On the flip side, you have, if you're an older guy, you have experience to draw on and figure out how to handle certain situations. Do you think it's harder or easier to be a freshman in this situation, or is it harder or easier to be a senior in a situation, knowing the uncertainty of your season and it's your last run? On the freshman side, this is all new. It's all a whirlwind, no matter what. So, does it really even matter that it's the most unorthodox year of all? Which is harder to be this year, a freshman or a senior?
I guess it depends on the individual. I would say overall, from experience, there's value with youth. I think some of the seniors, older guys who are already here, to a degree, are probably, tired with this situation. Not that a newcomer wouldn't, but it's a new situation, a new tired, so to speak.
Yeah.
But in both cases, I think both groups, older and younger, have that commonality of having this challenge put before them. So hopefully their individual mental toughness helps them individually as far as competing and, most importantly, staying motivated. When I talk to current players, when I talk to recruits, even aspiring players, I talk about the mental state of just being motivated. And that can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people.
Yeah. Now, with the, having to break things down and the phasing and everything, all these challenges, it helps to have people to lean on. What are you going to have this year from an assistant coaching standpoint? I know you usually have a good mix of some veteran guys who have been around. You have some former players to help bring experience and insights. What is your assistant coaching staff going to look like this season?
We return all assistants again, and we have a great bunch. We have 5 guys in particular. My associate head coach, Dan Parks, has done a great job for us since he graduated in 2014. He was an outstanding player both in lacrosse and football, and really shows the students how to be a superior student athlete. He was a two major, double major Eagle Scout when he went here, and just an outstanding person who's a teacher today in Bristol at Mount Hope High School. And then I have with him Curtis McCann, who's another graduate, has helped us out since 2014. He works with our face-offs guys. Jeff Farrar, who's a volunteer with us for 5 years now, works with our offense, in particular our attack. Rich Bernasconi works with our defense. He's been with us for 2 years now and does an outstanding job. And then we have Colin Barnett, who's been with us now 4 years, and he does an outstanding job as a volunteer, working with the D-middies, and he's our hype guy. He brings a lot of energy to practice. We term him our efficiency expert. And it's a good, close group. We talk together on and off the field about a lot of things, and these guys do a great job, not just preparing them skill-wise and tactics, but talking to them as successful men, as mentors, trying to help them where they want to be on the field, but more importantly, even off the field in life.
Is the hype guy more necessary now more than ever? Is he more valuable now? You know, having that guy to hype you up at a 6 a.m. socially distanced practice.
Well, things change, but things stay the same. And I think energy in any instance, any year is always big. And Coach Barnett does a great job with that. He brings a lot of passion, enthusiasm, volume, and the guys really respond well to him.
I've always felt when I first started at Salve Regina, I didn't know much about the sport of lacrosse. I knew, you cradled the ball and you tried to put it in the goal, but I didn't have a feel for the sport. Having covered it now, it is very much a momentum sport. You can feel the ebbs and the flows. How much does that help having a coach like that that's going to bring energy, but having guys that are going to bring that energy to the field and to a sideline, even towards the success of a team? Because from cover. You can feel the momentum, and there's teams that bring energy, and there's teams that don't.
100%, 100%. I say often it's a game of waves, runs. You see that often. I think experience, whether you talk about players or coaching staff, is key here, whether it's bringing that energy initially or responding in kind when you see that other team. And you want to see it from the other team. You want to play good opponents who are pushing you to be the best you can be. But it is most definitely a game of waves. It's beautiful to see. It's exponential, especially with the skill sets and the way individuals can pump up the numbers. And you see the rules moving in that direction as well, with TV covering the game more and more at the college level. You see the rules, as we talked about last week, really pushing the envelope as far as scoring, time, just TV appearances, optics are big in that respect, and momentum goes in that direction as well.
Is there any way to accurately scout that energy thing? And is that going to be harder to try and evaluate recruiting-wise this year when you maybe can't be at a game in person to witness that sort of stuff from players?
In person, you touch upon it, whether you're scouting an opponent, whether you're scouting a recruit. In person is always good to see that. With recruiting, sometimes that's one day, one snapshot, even if it is live. If they can do it once, though, more often than not, as they say, you can replicate that. It's hard to just turn it on and off. You got to have it, so to speak, whether you talk about a team or an individual. And when you see that live, you really notice that, and you can key in on that.
Last question, Pat. We've talked about the rules and the changes and things early in the show. I don't know if you caught. We were kind of talking about some sports oddities, the barefoot kicker in the NFL, those sorts of things that have gone by the wayside. Something that is present at the pro level that hasn't come yet to college, the 2-point shot in lacrosse. Do you think that's something you could ever see at the collegiate level?
Definitely, in the sense of you look to basketball. Once they, change some of the rules and you saw some of the zone come into play to get people back to man, and you see the same thing going on in lacrosse with the shot clock, though. In particular, you're going to see that. So defenses can't just be content to pack it in, as they say, especially down the last 10, 15 seconds of the shot clock. So I could see that happening, most definitely. Not in the next 2 years, but in the next 5 potential.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes along the lines too of that momentum thing. You see the 3-pointer is like the new dunk in the NBA. So if you had guys just ripping in, I know Dan Parks would probably love if there was a 2-point shot, right, in his day.
He would.
All right, Coach. Great to see you. Great stuff as always, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thanks, Andrew. Have a great day.
All right, that's Pat Cooney, the head coach of our men's lacrosse team. We're going to go now to our final guest here today on a Monday, our re-entry Monday, and we're going to close, bringing in from the bullpen, head coach Eric Cirella to close out the program here today. Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Andrew. How you doing?
Good. How about just start, update us. You guys have had over a week now of practice. How has that been going, and how are you feeling with how the team's progressing here, at least in the early stages?
It was just good to get out on the field this past weekend and kind of do some simulations and some pitchers and hitters and live situations. Really, just there's no way to be able to replicate that with drills that are anywhere near as effective as just the real thing. So that was great. It wasn't the cleanest weekend, but they're, like I said to the team, like this is just a barometer of where we're at, and the expectation is we can't stay there. We can't stay the same, and we have to keep improving and really working on the things that we didn't do so well. But I will say that watching Saturday and Sunday, there's a ton of talent. I mean, the hitters did a really, really good job. Saturday, fences are up. We might hit 6 home runs, which, that's just hasn't been the type of offense we've had of recent years. Even our best teams in 2017, it wasn't the home run ball. It was just being dynamic and being able to do so many things. But with the pitchers too, I mean, there is some swing and miss potential, and some of the young guys have made some huge jumps. You could really see the guys, the returners who use the 6 or 7 months to really get in good shape and work on their work on their body and work on their stuff. And some of the guys who didn't do so well, that we just have to hope that next weekend's a little bit better.
If you wanna, I know you might want to play it close to the vest and keep the state secrets. But if you want to, who has stood out for you here in the early goings of this unorthodox fall season?
Sure. Just looking at my board here, Don Parachi made some really big jumps, and that's not a name that I expect anyone to be familiar with because in 5 games last year, he didn't pitch, even though he was going to be slated to start, in Florida if we had left. But Dom, we looked at kind of like a Pat Maybach type in the sense that he has that great pitching body, and he knew how to win and he knew how to pitch. I mean, I think he was 7 or 8-1 as a junior when we were in the recruiting process, but 78, 79, topping off at 82, and all of a sudden in the first inning, or when first inning of his outing, he's pretty much 86, 89, with a Division I breaking ball at times. I mean, that was really exciting because you preach player development, but we can't be over your shoulder 24/7. I mean, we're laying out the groundwork or the blueprint rather, and the kids have to put in the work. So it was nice to see that. I think Graham Jeffries was phenomenal. Let me amend that statement. He wasn't phenomenal, but his stuff was phenomenal. I mean, he was warming up and clipped a couple 90s on the Rapsodo, it's just nice to see. Now he has to harness that, and he's got to throw his breaking pitch for a strike and do a whole host of things. But it was nice to see that jump out of him. And then there were obviously some freshmen that stepped on the field and did a great job. Zach Dione, who's a 5th-year guy, and he was in the strike. So, I mean, he's a kid that he'll throw one on the corner and then he'll bounce a ball or throw one off the backstop. And, his misses weren't bad. He was right there, and he threw a couple of just really, really quality pitches. I think the biggest disappointment with the pitchers is you expect the pitchers to get beat up. You expect the hitters to get beat up early because the hitters haven't seen live at bats. And it was just funny because any mistake that was made, the hitters would make guys pay. And Sean O'Malley hit a couple home runs on Saturday that were just, I mean, no doubters. One off Andrew Roman, who we expect to be at the back end of our bullpen, and a couple of young guys. Matt D'Amato was really, really good, really good. I mean, he went opposite field into the bullpen off a Chris Beach breaking ball, and Chris Beach, another freshman who ton of velocity, and now we just kind of have to, mold him into more of a pitcher. Kyle Platt, Mike Breen as freshmen. Mike Breen was awesome this weekend. I mean, that kid is a name that you guys should all circle because he's a shortstop, but he is going to be competing with Madden, and he's going to be at second base, third base. He might see some time in the outfield, but super athletic lefty bat. And it's not a finished product by any means, but to see the level that they could be at come February, March, April, that's super exciting, and that's what's going to keep, I think, the coaches up at night, just trying to figure out how to keep plugging away and getting these guys better.
You mentioned Rapsodo there. For those that don't know, explain what Rapsodo is and why it's so valuable, that sort of technology, given the lack of, say, live situations that you guys can get into.
Okay. Well, I don't want to see, that would be more secretive, I think, because people all look at Rapsodo a little differently. But what Rapsodo is essentially a camera that tracks, velocity, spin rate, spin efficiency, and how vertical and how horizontal a pitch will move for the pitchers. We also have hitting Rapsodo. So basically, in short, without giving away too much, is
You can plead the fifth. It's okay, Eric.
no. I mean, it's we're trying to figure out the best version of each pitcher and what's going to make them the best. So, here's an example. Garrett Verlander's with Detroit, all right, and he's having a tough season or a tough couple of seasons, and people are saying, this guy's done. These power pitchers, by the time they're in the mid-30s, they're on the decline. And Houston essentially saw something in his spin rate with his four-seam fastball. So he goes to Houston, in a trade, and scraps the two-seam fastball because they figure out that this two-seam fastball is an average pitch and other teams are hitting this off of it. But if we throw our four-seam fastball more, now your four-seam fastball and your curveball are going to play off of each other. So you have two pitches that kind of mirror each other, and then the vertical movement in the four-seam fastball and the vertical movement in the curveball mirror each other, which makes it very, very difficult to distinguish until the last second which one is which. That is essentially Rapsodo.
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned the Astros there in Major League Baseball. Did you have a chance to watch any of the wild card rounds? It kind of felt like March Madness for baseball last week.
So it was so cool. Kudos to Major League Baseball for finally getting something right this year. Just really fun to, I think one day there was like 8 games, or maybe one got rained out. There were 7 games, but just really fun to watch all the different things going on and all the different teams playing. And, I got a chance to watch a lot of it on, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Friday predominantly. So, just exciting. And I think this, I think there's something to the playoff format. I know baseball is the hardest sport to make the playoffs. And when you play that many games, sometimes it can lead to maybe teams packing it in or organizations packing it in or fans packing it in a little bit earlier than you would want as maybe the league commissioner. And, I got to say, like, as much as I want to reward the top teams and give them the easiest routes to get to the ALCS and the World Series, there is something to, maybe adding some playoff spots in the future because it just brings excitement to the game. I will be the first one to tell you that I've been talking about the Marlins for a while now. I think that I think Don Mattingly is hands down NL Manager of the Year for the job he did this year, especially with what transpired earlier in the year. And that's a guy that was my favorite player growing up, and obviously Derek Jeter as an executive there. But what a great opportunity for them to sneak into the playoffs and then really take it to the Chicago Cubs. But it's just a weird year, and I'm not saying that the Marlins are definitely going to advance or they're going to go any further, next year or be a playoff team next year. But there's some young talent on there, and anytime you got a few dominant pitchers in a shortened season, that's a dangerous team.
What's the World Series matchup that you want to see? I've been on the record. I want Astros Dodgers. I want a rematch. I want just from a storyline standpoint. I think it would be great. What's a matchup that you would want to see? I'm assuming maybe the Marlins.
I mean, I think I personally Marlins Yankees would be kind of cool to see
Especially with
Mattingly and
Jeter.
Jeter, face off. But there's a lot of them. I think I think the Rays are just so good. They're just so good. I think you're going to see a great matchup tonight with Snell and Cole, and but the Dodgers are phenomenal too. Like, how can you beat the Dodgers? I don't know how you can beat the Dodgers. I don't know how the Yankees are going to beat Tampa Bay. The Braves, like, I don't know how the Marlins can beat the Braves. The Braves are so talented, but it's baseball and anything can happen. And once you win a game and you start to believe and you put a little bit of doubt in the other team's mind, crazy things happen. And that's, the beauty of the sport.
You mentioned the benefits of the shortened season for some teams, and the hope that that can bring as well. Have you instilled or started, or at least maybe thinking about or plan to talk to your team about the importance, because this spring could be a shortened year, of starting fast, and how we can't say, oh, we'll get hot later. It has to start on that first game, and it has to be ready to go, because the season's going to fly by.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's not it's something that is in the back of my mind, and obviously as a coaching staff we've discussed scenarios, things that could happen, but I'm optimistic. I think when you look at baseball, it's just a different sport, and the social distancing aspect kind of happens naturally. So I'm optimistic that we can play the games that we need to play, because to be honest with you, we got a big roster for a reason and we have depth for a reason, and that's to make it through the dog days of the spring where you're playing 5, 6, 7, 8 games a week, maybe for 2 weeks in a row because it rained for 4 days. And we have a lot of guys who can give us contributions and can give us a lift if somebody happens to go down or need days off. I know it's going to be a different spring altogether, but it's not. I don't think it's beneficial to give college kids to fill their mind with all these different hypotheticals. I mean, I just want them to be as good as they can be, in the classroom, in the community, and on the baseball field. And if we have to make adjustments to what we're doing in the spring, then certainly we'll explain it. But I don't think anyone knows the answer, and until we get an answer, it's just not worth throwing hypotheticals at them because they got enough to think about.
Exactly. Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us here today. Always look forward to our conversations, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, likewise. Just so you know, like I keep that script. Like, oh, what do you want to talk? Like, I don't. I think I like it's to be a little bit more organic. So whatever direction we go in is fine
I
for
just
me. I
like to
don't
know
want to.
going in if you have anything specific you want to get at, or hey, maybe I should know by now. If you have something, you're just gonna go there anyway. I don't need to
I'm
tell
just
you.
gonna say you're gonna know off the first minute. Hey, I want to talk about this guy, or I want to talk about this. It's I could talk about anything for 10, 12 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll let you talk about anything within reason next week.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Take care.
All right. That's Eric Cirella, the head coach of the baseball team here at South Virginia. We're going to take a very short break and be back with the producers to wrap up today's show. We'll be right back.
So you want to be a Seahawk? Let's make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, and love your Seahawks.
Sammy, no mask?
Come on, Sammy. I know it's pumpkin spice season, but you can't bring drinks to class.
We have simple rules here, Sammy. Get out. Come back when you can follow them.
You got to take care of yourself and others, even if you are Sammy the Seahawk.
All right, welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Pizzelli. We had a great show here today. We want to bring in the producers now to close out the program. Mike DeFusco and, hey, Joey Morelli. Joey, you made it.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, my laptop, I don't know what happened, man. It crashed, like, as soon as I hit keep your distance. It was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going home. And it just shut off.
Took that too much to heart.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm going to, though, go ahead then and let you lead things off here at the end with whatever you wanted to bring to the top of the show.
Yeah, I can mention, the thing I wanted to talk about. I was just looking through the news earlier, and I found that the Rogue Island Comedy Festival, which is like a yearly thing, they have a bunch of comedians come in, and it's like a stand-up festival. They do over a couple of days. Is happening this year. I think they thought they were going to cancel it or do it online or whatever, but they decided they're going to do it in person, just super social distanced. It's at Greenvale Vineyard, I believe is the name, not winery, Vineyard in Portsmouth this weekend from the 9th to the 11th. They're doing it at the Vineyard because I guess it's like a really, really big location where they can have people really far apart. And I lost the article and the whole reboot thing, so I can't tell you who's going to be there, but it looks really cool. And I've seen it, like posters for it like every year, and I'm never able to go because there's always like something else that I have to go to. But that is, I think, something cool to check out if you have time this weekend.
I'm going to try. I'll pull this up for you, Joey. I think I was able to get it. Rogue Island Comedy Festival. Sold out for Ray Harrington, who I've seen, actually. Ray Harrington is really, really good. Haven't heard of Joe List or Chris Allen. Jason Cordova you can still get. Looks like the rest of these guys. Oh, and Marty Caproni you can still get tickets for. And who knows? I'm sure any of these things, whenever I see sold out, I don't get discouraged. I call up the venue.
Yeah,
I say, hey, I'm interested in coming. There's usually always people who back out, or they say show up. Or if you call somebody and you're on the phone, generally, if you're genuine, they'll find a way for these sorts of things, to make it work. Maybe not because of the social distance things, but it never hurts. It never hurts to call. And let me see. Yeah, I wanted to try and get the exact.
I think those are also just like the headliners too. Like I think there are like side parts where like just other comedians are going, so that might not be all of it. So like even if it's all sold out, you might still be able to go.
Yep, Greenvale Vineyards in Portsmouth. All seating will be generously spaced per distance protocols. So this weekend, October 9th, or coming up later in this week, October 9th through 11th, the 6th annual Rogue Island Comedy Festival. So again, hey, a local thing to go and do. Michael, what are your thoughts from today's guests? You got to witness the whole program. So what are your thoughts on from today's program?
Yeah, no, Jody and Pat gave us a great interview as always. But I wanted to just touch on a little bit of what Cirella was saying. First, I'm glad to hear Zach Dionne's doing well because he's really has like some of the best stuff I've seen as a pitcher. So always intimidating to go into the box against him. And then also a funny story about the Rapsodo that you guys were talking about. If anyone watching missed it, a Rapsodo just kind of measures spin rate, velocity, all that stuff. So during our games in our inter squads, it's in between the pitcher and the home plate. In one of our fall games last fall, the kid, freshman, I won't say the name, hit the Rapsodo, like spiked it. Ball went about 45 feet, not 60.6. And it just shattered. Luckily, I don't think it was complete. Like they were able to fix it, but we never put the Rapsodo there for the rest of that night. At least I don't know what they're doing now, but that was just a funny story I wanted to share. Didn't want to put anyone on the spot though, or say any names, but just a funny story about the Rapsodo that coach was talking about.
Hey guys, here's our fancy new toy. Don't break it. Smash.
Yeah. Bang. It's a freshman too. It's his first week, and
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's funny. All right, hey fellas, great work here today. Joey, appreciate the hustle. Trying to get back because of the laptop.
I had us on. I could have joined on my phone, but I have us on Radio FX on Seahawk Radio, so I couldn't go off of it. But so everyone else got to hear you guys.
Awesome.
So,
well, appreciate your guys' work on the show, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow.
All right.
All right, that's Mike DeFusco and Jody Mooradian, the producers here on Seahawk Talk. Wrapping up today's show, was a great show. Want to thank our guests once again, Jody Mooradian, Annemarie Haas, Pat Cooney, and Eric Cirella. I am Andrew Pizzelli. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll be back tomorrow again, 3 to 4 p.m. live on the Salve Athletics Network. Until then, stay safe, everyone.